Hello, hello, U.S. history class. We're going to get started on our unit of World War II. More specifically, we're going to get started on the U.S.'s policies during the beginning of World War II and how we shifted from neutrality to active participant and the steps along the way. I'm actually going to be using a few primary sources, and I'm going to link those sources in the description so that when we come to them, you'll be able to read along with them and possibly find something interesting. First off, we're going to be talking about the Neutrality Act of 1937. Now, while officially the war started in 1939 with the invasion of Poland, it did not start that. We all saw it building up. We knew that something was going to happen. So, the U.S. preemptively ordered this document together. And so, underneath all the legalese, hopefully we'll work through it, it states that the U.S. would not provide any arms or any way of making war to any involved foreign power currently at war, if we felt that such a thing would get us involved. Needless to say, when World War II broke out, we didn't want to supply side because we had seen the devastation of World War I. Our president tried to create the League of Nations to prevent a further war between the European powers, and it failed because no one wanted to support his idea, because they wanted to punish Germany. Now, in truth, this does not actually say that we actually were neutral and fought. In fact, we're going to move on to the Lindbergh Address, in which he mentions that he actually felt that if we were to take a side, we would be siding with the British, because he felt that Germany was being too aggressive, that they should be punished for their war making. But he brings the point that we are in the Great Depression. We don't have the resources to provide a war front. And so he states that it is America's fault for getting involved in the First World War, for getting tied up in that. And with that, we see how nobody is really prepared as much as we want to get involved. And this sentiment is reflected across America. People who want Germany to suffer, people who want to protect Britain, but all undercut by the fact that we don't have the resources to declare full-on war against Germany, especially with it being backed by Italy and the rapidly aggressive Japan, who's currently destroying China for war material. However, we did find a workaround. This is the Lend-Lease Act of 1941. This act has 11 provisions divided among itself, and its formula states that, again, underneath a bunch of legalese, that we will become an arsenal of democracy. Underneath all that is saying that if there was a side we felt needed to win a fight, we would ignore the Neutrality Act. We would provide them with war material, food, any tools that may require a nation to keep going. Some of it we'd sell, and the profits from those sales would go back to wherever organization we took the resources from. And some we'd lend. But despite the fact that we said we were an arsenal of democracy, it was worded in a way that said we weren't actively becoming arms dealers. Anyone we gave the weapons to had to be the ones specifically who were using that material. This legalese is actually a prevention against piracy, because even to this point in time, there was still equipment being stolen over the seas. There's still basically, the US had the case of being, at this point in time, we're the only one who has any more extra resources we can commit. And that would tip the point of the battle insanely far. So yes, Germany would make passes for our shipments. And this way, we have a right saying, this shipment is specifically designed to be used by one specific nation. You trying to take it and using it for yourself would be a crime, and we'd be forced to get actively involved. With the idea being, Germany won't try to intercept our shipments, because as much as they were the military powerhouse right now, they were still dealing with a war on two fronts between Britain and Russia. And they tried invading Russia, and it backfired. So in this legalese, it does actually give a lot of extra power to the president. And we all see that so many things are actually put into place that, like for instance, subject 5D specifically states that we're supplying weapons, but we're not actively placing our military personnel on the battlefield, because that is not our level of involvement. We are not being soldiers. We're not taking a side. Or rather, well, we are taking a side, but we're focusing on specifically supplying a side. We're not going to war. We're not going to war. However, this all left to a point where Japan was in desperate need of war materials because their nation didn't have a lot of the materials needed to wage modern war, which is why they were invading China to begin with. So they're getting embargoed hard, while Russia, Britain, and even some remnants of China were actually getting the resources given to them by the US. And they decided, if they're going to supply our enemies, they may as well be enemies. And that is when the Pearl Harbor incident occurs. A battle that is, well, it is actually a battle. Barely legal by the point of the declaration of war was given a mere handful of hours before the attack began. So, with that devastation, we did feel like we had no choice but to respond, because despite our vanity about the fact that we could not be invaded, we were shown up by Japan, whose fleet destroyed our naval base and did heavy damage to our Pacific fleet. So, within a few days, we had declared war on Japan. But because we had declared war on Japan, Germany and Italy declared war on us, and officially, we were now a member of World War II as an active combatant. And that shaped our history.